Welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. Okay, so this is part 3. I've managed to get it up right. You can see there's the beams on it there. I was using this just to pump it up, just to show you. Unfortunately I have to make something a bit bigger, but you can see how it, I'll just pump it so you can see it. Oh, let me hold on. There you go, you can see how it goes up. It'll only go up so far because I need to put some more kind of blocks in here. There you go. It obviously goes up quite a bit more than that. It ends up here. I'll put a bigger hole in this as well. So you've got 75% or 75% of it inside the tubing, and you see it coming down there. So yeah, I'm going to put some gussets in here now, across here, and possibly a little gusset across the back, just in case. But that's rated for about 3 tons. That, so 1 ton should be a doddle for it. As I say, you can. I've got the brakes on at the moment, so these are the wheels. This was a sod to get out, I have to say. There we go. So, and now you can see it moving. Hang on. Have I got brake? Ah, the other brakes are on. Oh, all of them are on. I wonder it wouldn't move. So you can see it moves pretty easy. There you can see, and it goes over the trailer. It goes through the door. There's one centimetre to spare as it goes through the door. As I say, what I'll do now is put the gussets in here, across to the lowest point, across here. The other thing I'm going to do as well is I couldn't get steel that was the tolerance was spot on there, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of movement there. So what I'm going to do is take it out and put some flat bar steel on 2 sides of this, so the tolerance is the right, so it's the right thickness. So it moves up and down with grease on it, but there's no movement between the box. You can just see there's a bit too much tolerance. So I'll weld a flat plate, not all the way down, but just on the whole piece of the side. Anyway, that's how it works, and it's yeah, seems to do the job. I've got to do this now. I talked about making these holes in here with the so that these can go sideways. But what I initially wanted to do was make this so it turned on its side, but unfortunately these brackets that are used for shelving have all the load down the way, and they're a box section inside, and it was just too complicated, too difficult to make it work. So the easiest idea was, or I could weld a tube on the side, but I think I'll put it through the centre, so when it lays flat you can use it as a dolly. But it goes over the trailer. It's got about 2 centimetres, about maybe 3 centimetres either side, so it's about 1.5 inches either side of it. And yeah, so I'm quite pleased. I will have to make something for this table, so I'll have to get it at like the lowest point and then make some kind of extension bar, bearing in mind that this will have the running gear on it, so I'll have to put it to one side to raise it to its maximum height. But I'll make a tubular bar for it, which kind of grips round here. There was one thing, let me just take this out of the way. There was one thing from Kevin Richardson, who's got Gentleman's Motor Racing Team, and he's thinking about making one of these, or a track to get engines out, but he's got about 8 meters to go, which is a long way, and this stuff could get pretty expensive, plus you've got to hang it every so often. And what I'm suggesting to him is maybe that he does something like, oh sorry Sammy, he does something like this. But what you could do is you could put a bar across on the top, have it sticking out, you know, sort of like what could I use to show you? This bar. If Kevin's watching in, you could put another one of these beams across like that, sticking out, but I would think you'd probably want to have it in the centre, so you've got overhang either side, so you could either put a counterweight on it, as long as it was, you know, enough to where the hook was going to come down, and then use a plate or bolt that through. And I'm sure if you counterbalanced it and had it in the centre, that would work fine. Or even, you don't need to put a bearing on it, but you could even put a bearing in the centre and have it swing round like that when you're not using it, depending on the height you need. But you imagine another I-beam. I'm using this just as a as a thingy, but you could have something like that and then have your hook hanging off, but with another I-beam. It's a thought, because the problem would be is if you're doing something like this and this distance from here to here, you'd be up against your bench, so the beam would have to come at least out past that wheel to make it work. So, but anyway, it's doable. I'm sure it is. I have an engine hoist, an engine crane, which is a foldable one, so I don't need it. It's got a big long extension on it, but you know, maybe you could do something like that. I don't know. But you can see it's all welded up. I'll just do the gussets tomorrow, and then while I'm away, Amir can paint it up for me. Anyway, so that's it for today. Just let me take that off. It looks silly, but I'm quite pleased. I don't think you could lift that on your own. I don't think. Can you? Oh no, that's too heavy. That's too heavy on your own. But maybe, I don't know, maybe two people could maybe do it. But it seems to go up quite easy. But I'll just make the tolerances a bit better. It's very hard to get box section that's got a thin tolerance because of the way it's made with a seam right through it. It's got the let's pop this up and see it comes up again. Yeah, but you can see that moves pretty easy, that. So yeah, to be honest, the hardest struggle I had today was I've had quite a few visitors as well, was getting this XK onto them stands, onto them axles, because this chassis this is a brand new chassis I bought for the car, and it's sitting on this makeshift. I don't know if you can see it there properly. I've been using it for a couple of years now, but it just really isn't good enough. It was for the E-Type initially, and you can see it's quite narrow, and this is why I wanted the dolly to be a bit bigger. But it's not strapped to it, it's just sitting on it, it's pure weight. So I was a bit iffy about having it too high at one end. And anyway, the guy who I'm doing the trailer for, Philip, came over and he gave me a hand for an hour, so that's it. Anyway, so that's it, lads. I'll maybe put something up a bit later on when we finish it off, and I'll do a load test. I don't know how I'm going to load test it, but I'll work out some way of doing a load test, and that's how it works. It's yeah, it runs pretty nice. I'm quite pleased with the way it moves. So I'll just get this out of the way. Move that out of the way because I'm going to clear up for tonight. But yeah, it's quite good. What I did was, just so you to finish up, when I was putting these on to get the angles right, I just did this. Just put these in, and you can see how the fit is on them. These are great, these magnets. The only problem with them is they get a lot of swarf cuttings and shit on them. And so you can see that's how I did them, to get the angles right. I think the better magnets for these, they've got these ones now that are you can turn them on and off, the magnet, and all this shit, all this swarf comes out of them, because that's the only problem with it, you get a lot of this crap in them. Anyway, so that's it for tonight. Catch up in a couple of days maybe. Thanks for watching in, appreciate it. Bye. Take care.